Hello everyone, this is Mr. Falls. So I've recorded a marathon commentary video for this game a few days ago, a week ago actually. It was for preparation for Flame Fatale's 2026 submissions, but there have been a big route change which cut off my PB by 2.5 minutes. So I've decided to redo a commentary video to be up to date, and what I've discovered is actually pretty exciting. So I really wanted to show you this. Also, usually when I'm doing marathon commentary videos, I'm playing at the same time. But for this game, I would like to talk about everything without forgetting any detail that I want to talk about. So I prefer doing that, doing a commentary after doing a run. As a not native English-speaking person, it's harder to talk and play at the same time. And also it will give a good idea to the commentary buddies what to talk about during the run. Anyway, so this is Woodle 2 Deluxe Plus from the Woodle 3 series. This is a 3D platformer open world, mainly inspired by Mario Odyssey. And I'm gonna start the recording, and I'm gonna talk about the run and everything around it, everything around the game at the same time. So timer start when you press start, like pretty standard. And I will skip a cutscene here, but basically the story of the game is that there was peace in Woodle's world. Woodle is this little log here that is very cute. Until some evil forces that are, I think, unnamed, I don't know the name of them, they invaded the main plaza where we were, and they stole the sacred tears, sacred droplets. You can call them whatever you want. So it dried some sage protectors, which are different type of trees, which are very important to this world, and you have to get the sacred tears back. You can see one here already in Woodle Village, which is basically the tutorial world. It's much smaller than the other areas in the game. And you have 3 per areas, 8 areas, so for a total of 24 droplets to collect. Yeah, do the little knit skip. There will be a lot of small skip that I'm not gonna be able to talk about during the entire run. And here, this is actually a very annoying part because you have moving flying owls platforms which are not on the same cycles, and you can very easily slide without being able to jump from them. That's very annoying. The first thing I'm gonna talk about in terms of movements is that there are multiple ways to do movements the fastest way possible. Actually, Woodle has a lot of different abilities. In this game, you can attack with the leaf, you can charge a projectile, which is what I'm trying to do here. If I want to get rid of the force field, I need to kill the bat and the big guy. Woodle has a double jump as well. It can glide with the Y button. And the fastest way to move on the ground is to quickly input, you can see on the input display, attack, then jump. So you have to make your thumb slide on the controller. It also works on keyboard, by the way. And so this is going to be the main movement tech that I'm going to do here. And I'm already done with Woodle Village. As I said, it's a pretty short area. And we are heading to Eden Caves. I've activated the checkpoints here. It's going to be important for later. And after opening the gate, I'm heading to Eden Caves, which is Pretty unique because it's a much more restrictive closed area than the other ones. The game is very, very open. There is a big map that you can explore the way you want. So this area is pretty unique in the sense that you can't do much as much skip as other areas. It will still have some very cool things. Here, for instance, I can skip. There is a plant here that you can use a droplet on to make it grow and reach the switch to open this gate. But with some wall jumps, you can actually skip that. This is something I found by myself. This is a great thing about this game, is that if you are beginning, you can actually come up with your own strats, your own routing, just by experimenting. You can definitely look at other rounds and see what the others are doing. But one of the most fun thing about this one is figuring out your own route, especially when you're starting. This here is a run killer because you have to do some wall jump, and up there are some enemies awaiting for you. The bad ones are the one that you need to defeat to access the droplet here. When you take a hit, the leaf you have will shrink, and if you wait a little bit, it will grow back, but if you take another hit, you will die. There are some exceptions which are like spikes you saw here, the thorns as well, the black goo, the lava, stuff like that. They are killing you in one hit. Here I'm skipping a bunch of things with infinite wall jumps. I'm gonna talk about that a bit later because there will be a pretty important thing to talk about here. Those rocky guys here are not dealing any damage, but they are pretty annoying. They are invincible and they can knock you back pretty easily. Some pretty cool wall jumps on the geometry here, and we are about to end with hidden caves. About the Woodle Tree series, there are actually 5 games, but 2 main entities. There is Woodle Tree 1, which counts with Woodle Tree Adventures, Woodle Tree Adventure Deluxe, which is available on Switch, PS4 and Xbox One if I'm not wrong, and Woodle Deluxe, which I don't think is available anymore. And for Woodle Tree 2, there is Worlds, which was the first version, and this one which I'm playing right now, Deluxe Plus, which is basically the better version and the more popular. So here we are going to Stone Mountains, which have a good amount of run killers, but also cool skips. The first one you will see, I will utilize infinite wall jumps. You're not supposed to jump on the same wall twice in a row, but with a bit of luck, you can actually pull some seemingly impossible skips. The thing is, when you start the game, you have lock frame rate enabled by default, which makes the infinite wall jumps basically luck-based. And you're gonna see that on this piece of geometry, I'm gonna struggle to reach this place, and this is a pretty annoying skip to do, not only because it's luck-based, but also there are 2 enemies guarding this place, and which can knock you down, and you have to redo the entire thing. You can just activate this platform that you can see to the left, but I'm not doing that here. I really want to show that. And what you're gonna see me doing here is doing a backup, which is activating, deactivating lock frame rate. The good thing is that it's gonna make wall jumps much more consistent, but I will have to reactivate it after because the basic movement tech won't be able to work anymore. So yeah, for the most part I keep that activated, but if I really need to, I will deactivate it. And here, this is what I've done. Here you can see a bit of wind It can be good sometimes. Here, for instance, I can reach this platform, but sometimes it can work against you. On this place here, I'm gonna do two cool skips. The first one is I'm gonna activate the switch, which activate a platform which will go upward, and I'm gonna be able to grab it when it's going up like this, saving about 20 seconds. And after that, I'm gonna do the first instance of a glitch, which doesn't have really an official name. Basically, when you activate the zoom with pressing the right stick, some weird shenanigans will happen. Basically, it's gonna store your momentum, and here by being pushed by the platform, I can actually rise in the air and reach this tier, which is very handy because you're supposed to do the platforming section on the right here, which is yellow, and I swear it's very annoying. So I'm glad that we are skipping that. Here you're seeing flowers. It's supposed to make you go faster, but using the movement tech that I'm using is much faster. And since you can't attack when you activate the boost with the flower, it's better to just do the movement tank I'm doing. Here I'm doing something a bit precise. I'm doing 2 wall jumps to reach that piece of geometry and just reach the next part. One other thing I can talk about before I reach the next important part is that I haven't talked about the category. This is all sacred water droplets, which is the intended way to beat the game. As I said, by the way, you can do some emotes. This is collecting the 24 droplets, and this is the main category. But there is also any person category, because you can basically skip the entire process of collecting droplets and skip straight to the final boss area. This is something I would like to make an incentive of, but it's very difficult to get that consistently, so I'm still working on that. I'm gonna submit this for Flame Fatales. If it gets accepted, I'm gonna work hard on trying to get this incentive because I think it would be cool to showcase that. It's just that it's very, very difficult, at least for now. Hopefully someday it will be consistent. Okay, so this section is very annoying. You have a lot of enemies to kill. It's very hard to know exactly how many bats you need to kill here. It's also very dangerous. There's a lot of death traps, as you can see, as the thorns, for instance. I think here I was able to kill only 5 of the 7, and I was still able to deactivate the force field. One feature is that the very big enemy here is mandatory. So here I'm killing 4 I mean. And actually, yeah, 4 that's enough. This still needs to be studied, to be honest. The thing is, they have some cycles, so it's hard to know which one is which one. So maybe there are 4 mandatory, and that's it. The other 3 are optionals. But yeah, sometimes you kill more than 3. Pretty cool here is that the next part is pretty close to where I collect the last droplet. So here what I'm doing is reaching Serene Lake. You can see on my input display what I'm doing is glide, unglide, attack, glide, etc. This is the fastest way to reach this place. Serene Lake is actually much easier than the previous splits. Pretty short as well. First thing I'm gonna do here is using the hair from this bamboo to reach the first droplet. Infinite wall jumps here can be a bit annoying. And I'm gonna do the same the second time I'm using a zoom glitch. What I want to do is punching the wall and a little bit later, not too early, activating the zoom, and it will give me some momentum to reach this pillar here. which has the second droplet. Here I was lucky because I was able to get the fast momentum. You can get slower and it can lose you a bit of time. Here you can see something gray in the background. There is a statue for every area. There are supposed to be illustrations of some heroes or slash protectors, and this one is supposed to be the father of the protagonist of the first Woodle 3 game. But I don't know if it's the same as the second one. It's not really clear, to be honest. Here you are in the water. I'm not gonna talk much about this place because it's pretty cool because horizontally you move a lot faster, but at the same time jumping can be a bit annoying. I'm gonna use this opportunity to talk about something very important. I'm gonna skip a lot of stuff about the game here, and I think it's a great game to explore casually because you have a lot of things to find. You have a lot of cosmetics to buy and upgrades as well. I think if you want to buy everything, you need 10,000 red berries, which is the main money of the game. You have 900 blueberries. You have some unique collectibles, some NPCs to interact with, including some to rescue. You have sacred flowers to work on with sub-levels. I think in straight lines the game takes about 5 hours to complete. But if you want to get everything, it's more 15-20 hours. And I think playing the entire game is worth it. So far there have been no 100% run. The route will take a lot of time to figure out, but I think it would be cool to see that. We are here on Four Seasons Field. By the way, you can do all the areas after Woodle Village in the order you want to. This one is supposed to be the second one, and it's probably my favorite to explore. I just like the vibe, the colors, the music. It's not very challenging, but you know, it's just sometimes it's just about vibe, and I like the vibe of this game, especially this place. Another droplet that I need to get by killing some enemies, which will break a force field. Not much thing to say about. What I'm trying to do here is to snipe the big enemies with projectiles. Be careful not to charge the good. Sometimes the hitbox can be a bit deceptive. By the way, I used to have issues playing this game because I used to have frame drops, and for some reason the frame drops were messing up with the hitbox, and I was getting hit by some death traps from very far away actually. So if you have issues with that, I hope you will solve this because it was very annoying and preventing me from speedrunning this game for a while. Don't forget to do an attack here to not fail getting the droplet. For this one, by the way, and another one earlier, you see that there is wind against you, and you have to activate the bridge. But if you're better than me, especially I would like to shout out Slippery Sidewalk, who is basically the best runner of this game. If you have very good aerial movements, you can actually skip activating the bridge. Just here, I'm taking safety checkpoints for the showcase here. I'm not gonna mention everything. And here I'm skipping opening a gate because why not? There is conveniently enough, there is open sitting here. Okay, very important part here. This is what I was talking about with the new route that I found. Next area is Snow Mountain. It used to be a pretty scary part. Not necessarily the most challenging one, but you have no checkpoint. in the route I was using, and it was very scary. And now you can actually skip a bunch of it. So basically what you were supposed to do is slowly reaching the top, and it takes a big amount of time. And right now, what I'm trying to do, it's gonna take me a bit of time to get the right momentum, is using this conveniently placed elevator, which have good hitbox too, to get vertical momentum like that. I'm gonna wait about 25 seconds, and then I'm gonna do the same strat as between Stone Mountains and Serene Lake, which is glide and glide attack. And I'm gonna be able to reach the summit of Snow Mountains and skip a lot of stuff, which is a very big finding. It's gonna take a bit of time to reach that. You can actually reach the summit. I think Slippery Sidewalk is doing that too with 2 players. Basically, if you play with 2 players activated, you can use the second player to attack the first one, use the zoom, and basically do the same but even better. The thing is, I'm not interested in playing with 2 players. I prefer playing with 1. And I don't want to submit this category, this subcategory to a marathon because it can mess up the camera pretty badly, and I don't think it would be a pretty cool showcase for the marathon. But it's cool it exists. Don't get me wrong. And here I'm reaching the summit, which is very cool. Skipping some pretty scary parts, as I said. Again, you need to kill some enemies. There is a force field. You can see some frozen cone here. If you touch them, they are not killing you, but you get frozen for a few seconds. And the next thing I'm gonna do after getting this droplet is something I was doing on the previous route already, which is dropping for the summit and reaching what is supposed to be the second tier, because it's placed right there. There are a lot of cool things you are not seeing though. Like, I was using an ice glide that you're not supposed to ride, and I was spamming the jump button to get to the top. You can actually see it here. But now it's not mandatory anymore. And here I'm gonna reach what is supposed to be the first tier. And that's gonna be already the end of Snow Mountain. This route says about at least a minute and a half, I would say, which is pretty big. Maybe even more if you get an even better momentum from the zoom glitch. So yeah, by the way, something I didn't mention is that checkpoints actually can be used for teleporting to them. And I've activated this teleporter before entering Hidden Caves, and I'm using that now to go to Woodle Shores. This looks pretty like friendly and peaceful and stuff, but it's actually one of the hardest, even in casual, hardest section in the game. Because you have water, you have basically a death plane in the entire area. So yeah, it's very dangerous. Here I'm gonna skip an entire section again. I'm gonna barely ride this rock here. You have to be on the right portion of the rock, otherwise you're gonna drown. There will be a lot of wind in this area, so I will have to be careful not to use the glide at wrong time. Like here, for instance, if you use the glide, it can go wrong pretty easily. This droplet, the one coming up, is used to be one of the scariest one actually, and it still can be scary. Don't use a glide here, otherwise again there's a win. I'm actually standing on this switch here to skip the entire auto scroller here, which is funny. Here I'm gonna do one thing that you're gonna see me using only once. I'm storing a droplet from the waterfall on my leaf to make the plant grow. It's what you're supposed to do a lot of time, but it's something I'm only using here. But you're gonna see me storing droplets later for other things and in a different way. So this is the scary part. You're supposed to do wall jumps here, but even regular wall jumps sometimes can behave weirdly. And since you have a water below you, you can lose a lot of time if you die. The previous checkpoint was very far away. For the last one of this area, I used to do infinite wall jumps on those little house, but I prefer going here. It's taking a bit more time, but it's more consistent. If you don't get the infinite wall jumps, you lose a lot of time. The last clip here is pretty scary looking because I'm gonna face thorns, but it's actually not that difficult once you get it. It allows you to skip a lot of things. And we are heading to the last area of the game. I'm using this teleporter I activated in Woodle village and go to Lost Deserts, which casually is probably the most dangerous. It's supposed to be the last one you do. If you want to do the 100%, you're gonna see a lot of lava and quicksand and wind and enemies. And invincible one-hit KO enemies. Yeah, this is a very difficult section. In terms of speedrunning, it's not the most difficult, but since it's coming at the end, you can be a bit shaky. Here you only have to kill 2 big enemies to get the first one. Not that special. Yeah, I did something pretty cool, which I rarely do, is gliding and being able to reach it as soon as possible. After that, I'm gonna use a new zoom glitch to cross a big gap and get straight to the next droplet. I'm gonna try to think if I didn't forgot any other things, because we are coming to the end of the run pretty soon. There are about 4 minutes remaining, basically. So drink a bit of water. Stay hydrated, everyone. You're gonna see a lot of enemies, by the way. It can be a bit scary. So the goal here is to kill 6 big enemies, and it can be pretty scary. I'm activating the checkpoints just before all the time because you can have bad cycles with the little enemies and being annoyed. Like here, for instance, I'm gonna have some issues. I'm gonna take a hit and be pretty scared, but also you can see the lava that can be a problem sometimes. I don't remember if the cacti can actually eat you. I think they do, so be careful with that. And there you go. After that, only one last droplet to collect. You can see the flame enemy here. Don't touch it. I made this mistake during a pretty old run and learned the hard truth. There are gonna be some cool wall jumping here, and I'm gonna do one last momentum zoom glitch. I can't figure out the official name of it. We really need to have a community discussion about this glitch. Would be better for commentary eventually. And for the end, I'm gonna use some geometry on the walls to skip opening the gate that you can see here on the left, on the right, I mean. And after that, there will be the final boss. So for the final boss, I'm gonna already explain what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to defeat some waves of enemies, which will unlock waterfall. When you unlock the waterfall, you store droplet. And after that, you can actually hit one of the 3 weak points. But what I'm gonna do is teleporting to this checkpoint and go to the waterfall here. And if you use the zoom, it's actually stored, like you can see, being on the leaf, but not on my head. And it has multiple benefits because you don't have to defeat the waves of enemies. There are a lot of enemies, by the way. And also, you can do more things. You can jump, you can glide, you can run, which is not what you're supposed to do when you're using this mechanic normally. So it saves a lot of time. You don't want to do the normal strat. Honestly, it's pretty easy to learn. I would recommend the beginner to learn this glitch here, because killing all the enemies to unlocking the waterfalls takes a lot of time. And I've already done 2 weak points. I'm gonna do the last one here. Timer stops when you hit the last weak point. The frame basically is when the droplet disappear. And yeah, that's it for the run and time. By the way, I don't exactly know who this tree is and why it's in the underground of the world. But yeah, you restored the energy of all the sage protectors. The elder tree is happy. Peacefulness is back in Woodle's world. And that's it for the run. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. I think this run deserves a big spotlight because, as I said, it can be a pretty challenging run. Don't get me wrong, some of the strategies I'm using are very challenging actually, but since it's so open, it's at the same time pretty open for beginners, and I want to showcase that. I want to bring more people to this very cute game and very neat speedrun. Can be pretty janky sometimes, you know, usual 3D platformer things, but I think it deserves some attention. I would like to shout out again Sippery Sidewall for helping me with some of the takes, finding some very neat skips, being just so good at this game. And I would like also to shout out Nezizov, who actually figured out the frame lock thing with the wall jumps, which was very helpful for figuring out any percent and also other stuff in this category. And yeah, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this commentary, and see you soon.